In this video, I'll be explaining all 46 Zoho One applications, 5 other important Zoho applications, and 4 other critical tools that enhance Zoho. Now, I'm Drew Brockbank. I'm an official Zoho consulting partner, and I'm the owner of Brockbank Consulting. I've implemented Zoho over 112 times with over 112 organizations, and I've personally managed over $1 million in Zoho client revenue. Now, if you are looking for help with Zoho, book a free consultation using the link below to get the help that you need. If you need to keep track of your organization's data, then you are going to want Zoho CRM. So Zoho CRM is a better alternative to other applications such as Salesforce CRM and HubSpot CRM. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it. Forbes Advisor has Zoho CRM as the top CRM for 2024 for best features and value. They do extensive research on the different CRMs that are out there in the marketplace, and then they rank them so that people have a good understanding of what CRMs are best. So take Forbes Advisor's word for it, don't take mine. Now, I want to go over 3 of the major things that Zoho CRM offers you as a person and organization. So number 1 is single source of truth. You probably heard of this concept before. The main idea is if there's 3 people on a team, one person is keeping track of all of their customer information and information on the organization on a spreadsheet. And maybe person number 2 on the team is keeping track of everything on their phone. And then person number 3 is keeping track of all of their information on paper. Now you have 3 sources of truth, and it's really hard to execute when you have no clarity. It's really hard to get clarity when you have 3 different sources of truth. So there's a way to have clarity on who people are in the organization, different organizations that you may be working with, all the data that you're collecting. You want one storage unit for that. That's effectively what Zoho CRM does at a baseline, is it gives you a single source of truth. If it's still a little murky on what that is, just think of the Contacts app on your phone. Imagine everyone had access to the Contacts app on your phone. So as they added information to the Contacts app, it was reflected in your app. And if you made an edit, it reflected for everybody else. But it doesn't just store the contacts, it also stores leads, deals, accounts, and all the other information that's critical to collect in the organization. So that's number 1. Number 2, Zoho CRM can lay out your processes from left to right. Now, I've done this for people running for Senate, political organizations, and I've done this for many businesses that want to lay out their buyer journey from left to right. Whatever journey you're trying to track, you don't want to just store your information. At that point, it's a glorified Rolodex and spreadsheet. You also want to lay out your processes so you can see your data in relation to your processes. That way you can actually do something about the information that you are collecting. Because at the end of the day, we're not collecting it just for fun and for reference. We're collecting data so that we can do something about it in the organization and move people through some kind of journey. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, what Zoho CRM can offer you is automation. So automation capabilities are very robust within Zoho and the Zoho One platform, as you're going to find out in later parts of this video. But the idea is that if something can be automated and it's mundane and it's routine, why are you spending your time doing what can be automated? Go ahead and strategically automate parts of your processes. That way you can focus on the most critical parts of your organization. If you are looking to build powerful reports for your business, you are going to want to use Zoho Analytics. Now, the advantage that you have with using Zoho Analytics, because it's a BI platform that stands for business intelligence, it allows you to gather data from multiple applications inside of the Zoho suite of applications and outside of the Zoho suite of applications. Meaning, yes, if you have applications that you are using outside of Zoho that you want to report on, Zoho Analytics may have a data connector for it. And if it doesn't, you can also tap into Zoho Analytics API in order to add information to Zoho Analytics. Now, once you get that data, Zoho works from the ground up. If you first get that data into your system, different tables of data, you then build reports. Once you build reports, you can combine reports into a dashboard like you're seeing here. So if you want to build executive dashboards that are built on top of data within the Zoho ecosystem and outside of the ecosystem, then Zoho Analytics is for you. One other quick note on Zoho Analytics. You'll notice that inside of in-app report builders, so when I say in-app, if you're using Zoho CRM, there's report builders there. Maybe you're in an application outside of the Zoho ecosystem and it has a reporting section. Those report builders are not very robust. There's many reasons for that, but because it's not a BI tool embedded inside of the application, it hinders you from creating robust reports. One of the capabilities of Zoho Analytics is the ability to use SQL or SQL, which allows you to structure your data exactly the way that you want so that you can produce the reports that you need for the organization. So almost every time I work with a client and they want to build a report, I use Zoho Analytics because most in-app report builders are just not nearly as capable. They're extremely limited. So if you're looking to build the reports that you need for your organization, use Zoho Analytics. If you're wanting to send mass marketing communications from Zoho, you are going to want Zoho Campaigns. So Zoho Campaigns can surpass the limitations inside of Zoho CRM because Zoho CRM has limitations for sending 100 emails at a time and 1,000 a day. So if you're wanting to do more than transactional communication, which you would use Zoho CRM for, you can use Zoho Campaigns to send out mass emails and mass SMS messages to your contacts in your database. Okay, so why is this significant for you? Well, Zoho Campaigns, number one, it can replace alternative marketing automation platforms that you are using. So let's say you're using MailChimp, for example, or ActiveCampaign. You can cancel those subscriptions, save some money, and move into Zoho Campaigns. The other nice thing and where Zoho Campaigns really shines is its integration with Zoho CRM. So the information you're collecting in Zoho CRM is going to flow very nicely into Zoho Campaigns. And that may not seem very significant to you, but if you have tried to set up third-party marketing automation tools with CRMs in the past, you'll know one of the big issues is when you get ready to send an email inside of your marketing automation platform, you want to send to the right people, which means you have to segment your list, but you can't segment your list properly unless you have lots of information to build those segments on. Because when you build a segment, it has to be on data coming from another system, such as Zoho CRM. Now, Zoho CRM doesn't just give you lead and contact information, it gives you the contact's account and deal information. So you have all the information necessary right off the bat in order to create the proper segmentations in your list and avoid what's called the cluster. And the cluster is simply when you look at that list and there are no segments. And if there are no segments, you're too scared to send an email because you don't want to send an email to someone who just subscribed to your newsletter and to someone who you've been doing business with for 10 years if you can't tell the difference. So you can avoid that hesitation to send messages. You can save money by not paying for other marketing automation tools outside of the Zoho One ecosystem with Zoho Campaigns. If you want to do marketing like a pro, then you're going to want to use Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. Now, if you've used HubSpot and Marketing Automation 2.0 have a lot of overlap. I'd say they're parallel applications. Also, Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 has a lot of crossover with Zoho Campaigns, but here are some of the key differences. So number one, you can attract and convert prospects on a landing page that you build. So instead of going to the IT team and saying, or if you're a one-man show or a one-person show and you are a solopreneur who has to build a website, instead of going to your CMS, your content management system, whether it be WordPress, Wix, whatever you're using, and adding another page for a landing page, you can actually create the landing page inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 and collect leads from there. That's something you can't do in Zoho Campaign. So that's one of the major advantages you have here. If you're taking your marketing to the next level, you want to start using landing pages and funnels, you can actually create that inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. Okay, next thing, once the lead actually gets into your system, you can trigger some marketing automations, such as sending emails and SMS to those people that you've collected information from. And then you can also make personalized messages. You can extend these capabilities, by the way, with an application called Clay that's outside of the Zoho ecosystem, but it's something I do for my clients, where you essentially ping Clay with a first name, last name, email. Then you can get back their LinkedIn, their position, the last post they made, a ton of information. You can go onto their website from their domain and their email, summarize what they do for their website, and then have ChatGPT take that information and craft personalized messages for that person. And then you can port them over to Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 and send personalized messages at scale. Next thing you can do is you can score leads based on intent. So you have two main buckets for lead scoring. If you don't know, the reason that you do lead scoring is just so you can differentiate, hey, is this a hot lead or is this a cold lead? How much have they engaged with us? So that's behavior-based scoring. That's the first way you can score a lead. So if someone goes on your website, you can score different pages that they've hopped on, or you can score based on behavior for how someone's interacted with an email. So if you send an email blast or an SMS and they respond, you can award a certain amount of points. And if they breach 100, you'd say now they're not just marketing ready, they're ready for sales to make a contact there. That's if you're doing B2B. The other bucket for lead scoring, or way that you can do it, is you can do lead scoring based on information. So you have behavior-based scoring and information-based scoring. If someone fills out a form and they select their industry as consulting as an industry, and your ideal customer is in the consulting industry, then you could award a certain amount of points for them having matched some of the criteria for your ideal customer profile. Last thing on behavior-based scoring, if someone submits a form, it's a valuable form, it says contact us, contact sales team, you can award 100 points and automatically push them over to the sales team. That's the last part here. Once someone is sales ready, really the idea of Zoho Marketing Automation is let's get these people sales ready. For B2B, or if you're doing B2C, it's just a good way to manage your landing pages and get more conversions. So that's what you can do with Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. If you want to build better lists for prospecting, and you want to enrich the information you have and that you're collecting in your organization, you're going to want to check out Clay. So this is one of the non-Zoho apps that greatly enhances the Zoho platform. So I use this for many of my clients, mainly for two things. If they want to build a list of leads so they can reach out to them and generate more opportunities for the organization or close more deals, that's one major use case. The more popular way that I use this is for enriching data. Okay, so if you don't know much about data enrichment, it pretty much works like this. Someone fills out a form, maybe the contact us form on your website, or contact sales team, or book a free consultation. They add first name, last name, email, and phone number, but you want their LinkedIn information. You want to know what position they are in. You want to know their title. You want to know the industry. You want to crawl their website, and you want to summarize the information on their website so you and I have an idea of what they sell, what they offer. If you want those kinds of insights, then you got to lean into data enrichment. The more data you have up front, the more you can assess someone before you even talk to them, so you're better prepared. And so that is what Clay enables you to do. You can actually think of it honestly like Zoho Flow with additional capabilities. So for example, a lot of the times I'll enrich data with a tool, Apollo.io, but it's only going to work about 20% of the time for most people. So what you can do with Clay is you can do a waterfall enrichment where essentially you can start with Apollo, then you can work your way to Zero Bounce and other tools. You can use 6 different tools and then check one by one so that you can get the information that you want. So basically you up your chances of enriching data from 20%, you can jump all the way up to 80% so that when you collect data on someone, you can get more helpful information so that you can assess them and provide a better experience when you're on a sales call or on a customer-facing call. So that's what data enrichment allows you to do. That's what Clay allows you to do. It's got way more capabilities. It's got an AI research assistant, which is like a web scraper married ChatGPT. You can even port into ChatGPT. Another thing you can do that's worth mentioning is personalized communications. So once you get all that data, you get their LinkedIn information, you validate their email address, you gather the information that you want, you can prompt ChatGPT based on that data to craft personalized messages. So if you're doing pure cold outbound, instead of sending out the same messages to everyone, you can do parts of those messages that are highly personalized and tailored to that person, which allows you to do personalized outreach at scale. So that's also something you can do with Clay. There's a lot of use cases. I mostly use it for lead enrichment for my clients. If you want to create documents that require a signature and you want to collect that signature within one application, and if you want to save money by not paying for tools like DocuSign or DocuSign itself, then Zoho Sign is for you. So Zoho Sign not only allows you to create documents and merge information into those documents from Zoho CRM. It's actually done via Zoho Writer, but then it integrates with Zoho Sign. You can actually send those documents for signature and it will count as if someone actually inked that contract in person. So you can do that all within the Zoho Sign platform. Not only can you merge information into a document, then send it out for signature, you can collect that signature and it will notify you once that contract, proposal, or whatever document you're sending out for signature is completed. You can send it to multiple people. Zoho Sign is a very powerful tool for, again, creating documents, merging information in, and collecting signatures. If you are looking for a robust form builder, you are going to want to use Zoho Forms. So the nice thing about Zoho Forms is you can create a form, embed it on your website. You can collect UTM parameters. If you're a marketer, that's going to be important to you. You can also integrate the information collected from a form with various applications inside of the Zoho platform and outside of the Zoho platform. So if there's applications that you still want to use outside of Zoho after getting Zoho 1, then you can integrate Zoho Forms with those applications. You're going to see how we extend those capabilities through Zoho Flow, which is another app that we'll talk about in a moment. But the key thing to understand about Zoho Forms, number one, you can create very robust forms with multiple pages to collect lots of information. And then number two, you can integrate the information collected on those forms with various Zoho applications and applications outside of Zoho. If you want to better track where your leads are actually coming from, you're going to want to check out Attributor. This is a tool that I use all the time for a couple of reasons. So number one, if you look at the description in this video, you're going to see links to my website. At the end of those URLs, you're going to see UTM parameters. It's going to say content, and then have a value for content. It's going to say source and it's going to say YouTube. And those are ways for me to keep track of where my leads are coming from. That way, when I close a deal that came from a lead, I can see, okay, I made this much revenue from this much source. Now, the idea that I'm trying to get across here with Attributor is if you are trying to drive revenue or increase revenue for the organization, it's really hard to do that if you don't know what's already driving revenue for the organization. So if you want to continually double down on what's working for the organization, you got to know what's working already. So in order to do that, you got to take off the blindfold and see what's working with Attributor. So you can collect UTM parameters without Attributor just through Zoho Forms. You can use an embed code in Zoho Forms and it will look at the URL so that when someone submits a form, you can collect them. So why use Attributor if Zoho Forms can already do it? Well, here's the thing. Let's say you clicked on the link in the description of this video to book a free consultation. You'll know if you go to my website, you can also go to the ZBlitz page. Okay. So if you go to ZBlitz, as you jump to another page, the UTM parameters will be removed from the URL. Therefore, you lose your tracking because Zoho Forms looks at the URL. It doesn't look at cookies, whereas Attributor looks at cookies. So Attributor is looking at your website cookie to pull UTM parameters from. So it stores it there. That way it doesn't forget your UTM parameters. So that's the first thing that's advantageous about using Attributor. The second thing that I think is really important about Attributor is it also adds UTM parameters automatically to the end of a URL so that if you forget to, if you create a link and it pushes over to your website and you're like, oh, I forgot to put UTM parameters at the end of that, Attributor is just going to automatically populate it for you based on the referring URL or the URL that they came from, the site that they came from, the page that they came from. So that's really nice. Final thing, if you're wanting to track organic traffic, you know that your organic listing URL on Google or Bing, or I mean, let's be real, you're going to be using Google if you're going to do SEO. If you're trying to track your organic traffic and lead conversions, then you are going to want to use Attributor as well because UTM parameters don't work for organic listings. Like your base URL for your website is not going to include UTM parameters. So use Attributor so that that's automatically populated. It can see that it came from Google and then populate your UTMs for you automatically. So that's the reason that I recommend people use Attributor. If you're looking to track website visitors and create a chatbot, then Zoho Sales IQ is for you. Now, those are the two main things that you can do with Zoho Sales IQ. It allows you to embed a piece of code on your website, and then after embedding that code on your website, immediately start tracking all the people that are visiting your site, how long they've been on your site. It doesn't just stop there. If you want to create a chatbot like you're seeing at the bottom right-hand side of the screen now, if you want to build a chatbot like this is built by Zoho Sales IQ. So you can have conversations with users. So from their end, it's going to look like this. From your end, you're going to be inside of the application as an agent responding back to them. So you'll have your own little terminal that you can use to send messages back and forth. So again, just to recap, Zoho Sales IQ, number one, allows you to track visitor traffic on your website. And I think it is superior to alternatives such as Google Analytics. You can use it in parallel, but Google Analytics counts a lot of fluff. So if you want to remove the fluff from your reporting and you just want to see people that were actually on your website, not bots and not bounces, but just the people who visited your website, then Zoho Sales IQ is the way to go. And then number two, if you want to create chatbots like the one you're seeing here, you are going to want to use Zoho Sales IQ. If you're looking for an accounting platform and if you want to replace QuickBooks, then you are going to want Zoho Books. Now, Zoho Books is a complete accounting platform. And the nice thing about Zoho Books is you can send out invoices. So as opposed to just sending out a quote and someone approving the quote, you can send out an estimate, have an estimate approved, have it created as a sales order, then have the sales order. From the sales order, you can create multiple invoices and send them for payment. That might seem like overkill to you, but those are necessary records for accounting. Sales order is the master record. On one side, you have the financial obligation, and then you have actually, if you sell physical goods, how you're actually going to move those physical goods. So you want to account for both of those things in one system, and Zoho Books is able to do that for you. Now, within Zoho Books, you have many other capabilities that you would have inside of QuickBooks. They are parallel products, or in other words, most of what you can do in QuickBooks, you can also do inside of Zoho Books. If you are going to move over, it can be very difficult to implement Zoho Books and move over from another accounting system. But if you are wanting to replace QuickBooks and you're wanting to send out invoices and collect payment, then you're going to be able to do that through Zoho Books. If you're wanting to create advanced integrations and automations, you are going to want Zoho Flow. So Zoho Flow can integrate with applications inside of the Zoho platform and outside of the Zoho platform. It's one of my favorite Zoho applications because I use it quite a bit to help companies automate their business and integrate with other applications. So it is a parallel product to Zapier. Now, Zapier gets more expensive as you use it. So if you are using Zapier, you are definitely going to want to use Zoho Flow to move your automations over from Zapier, because why pay for Zapier if Zoho Flow can do the same thing for cheaper and better? There's no reason to do it. So Zoho Flow is a great platform for building these automations. The nice thing about it too is you can tap into Deluge, which is the official Zoho scripting language to build these automations. So once you get information into a flow, you can think of a flow as just an automation or integration. You can actually do whatever you'd like with that data. In the same way in Zoho Analytics, you can use SQL to string the data together in the way that you want. You can use Deluge inside of Zoho Flow to push or manipulate that data in a way that you need to in order to get integration set up or automation set up in a way that you need. If you are looking for an application to support your customer service operations, then you are going to want Zoho Desk. I want you to think of Zoho Desk as a shared email inbox. So if today you were getting lots of requests in your email, let's say you're using Gmail, for example, and you were like, I need some help here. If you had the ability to add multiple people from your team into Gmail so they could help you manage all those requests, that would be like Zoho Desk. So the nice thing about Zoho Desk is you can add multiple ways for your customers to get support. So as a very typical example, maybe at the bottom of your website, you have your support@yourdomain.com. And when people email that, you can actually forward the email to Zoho Desk, which would then automatically create what's called a ticket. These things you're seeing in the background here, these are tickets. What's nice about Zoho Desk is it organizes these requests in a way that each of the agents or Zoho Desk users can then do something about the request coming in. You can actually have the correspondence with a ticket inside of Zoho Desk. So you can go back and forth and give your customers the support that they need. And you can actually manage your customer service operations at scale because you can automatically distribute those tickets to the right people on your team so that they can manage it. Also, if you are looking to be proactive about customer support, because being reactive is saying, hey, if you email this, if you submit this form, we're going to get back to you. But if you want to be proactive about customer service, you can also use a feature inside of Zoho Desk, which is the microsite. And the microsite allows you to essentially add articles from your knowledge base that you've gathered from being reactive to answering all these posts. Once you build out full-fledged articles, you can publish those onto a microsite. So you've probably been on those websites before where in the URL it says like help.theirdomain.com. That's a microsite. Okay, that's an extension of the website, which allows you to get their help resources. So you can actually publish your articles to the help center microsite so that people can go on your website, get the help they need before they even have to take the time from your customer support representatives. So you don't have to just be reactive about customer support, you can be proactive. Finally, if you're using a solution like Zendesk, you can replace Zendesk with Zoho Desk and save your organization some money. If you are looking for a way to organize the work in your organization, the different action items that you're creating, then you are going to want Zoho Projects. So Zoho Projects is a very robust project management platform that allows you to see what's going on and for everyone to understand exactly what they need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. So you can see here some of these action items being created. You can throw it onto a Gantt chart so you can see from left to right who needs to be doing what and who's waiting on what items to be completed so they can get to their items. Now, Zoho Projects would replace different software applications such as Monday.com. So if you're using Monday.com or applications like it, you can move over to Zoho Projects and save your organization money. Also, this is typically used for everything post-sale. So if you're doing onboarding and you have lots of items in your onboarding process, from Zoho CRM, you can create a Zoho project associated to a Zoho CRM record with the integration so that you can know, hey, this onboarding is happening for this client. Or if you're doing a product launch, and let's say you're doing B2C, and you want to organize all the actions that need to happen before you can launch a new product, then you can manage that all within Zoho Projects. If you want to store your files in the cloud, you're going to want to use Zoho WorkDrive. Now, the advantage of using Zoho WorkDrive, for instance, with Zoho CRM has its own storage engine, but it doesn't give you a ton of storage. So if you max that out, you can integrate Zoho WorkDrive with Zoho CRM, and then you can store information from Zoho WorkDrive on the cloud. You're seeing pricing here. Obviously, this is included inside of Zoho One, so you won't have to pay additionally to use Zoho WorkDrive. The nice thing is everyone in your organization can get access to Zoho WorkDrive to store files there and then share them as needed. So it's got more storage capabilities than any of the in-app storage across Zoho One. So it integrates nicely with Zoho apps and non-Zoho apps, as you can see here, so that you can store files that are critical to your organization. If you want to store all of your passwords for your entire organization, or maybe you're a solopreneur and you just want to store passwords for yourself, you're going to want to use Zoho Vault. Now, Zoho Vault is a password storage manager, and you will have this as a part of Zoho One. So this would replace software such as OnePass. So if you're using OnePass, you can switch over to Zoho Vault. LastPass is another alternative here, but Zoho Vault is better and it's included in Zoho One. So why pay another subscription to another software company if you already have an application that you're paying for and it's better? So that's the really valuable thing about Zoho Vault is, number one, in an organization, we all have usernames and passwords that we need to share to different coworkers. If we're working on a team, use Zoho Vault. If you're a solopreneur, and you just have one Zoho One license for yourself, use Zoho Vault so you can just store all the passwords that are critical for your organization. If you want to keep track of inventory, and if you are selling physical goods and you want to keep track of product, then you are going to want Zoho Inventory. Zoho Inventory is a very robust inventory management system that's provided by Zoho and included in Zoho One. So to take a step back, in Zoho, you have different applications that are considered the finance suite of applications. Zoho Books is included in that, and so is Zoho Inventory. So the unique thing about the Zoho Finance Suite is they share the same storage engine as each other, meaning if you use Zoho Books and then you look at Zoho Inventory and you're like, we want to use this instead of our other IMS platform that we're paying an additional subscription for, since you're already paying for Zoho One, you may want to just extend the capabilities of Zoho Books into Zoho Inventory, and that's what I would recommend that you do. The nice thing about this is once you, when you're procuring goods, you can keep track of stock counts within Zoho Inventory, and if you sell goods, you'll be able to keep track of your stock counts. Just to give you a quick understanding of how this works, on one hand of inventory and stock counts, you have your physical stock, which is how much stock is actually sitting for a certain SKU in a warehouse or location where you're storing goods. On the other side, you have accounting. So if someone purchases goods from you, but you haven't actually moved it yet, that's your accounting stock. If you've actually physically moved the goods, then that is your physical stock. So you can keep track of both those stock counts within Zoho Inventory. If you have specific requirements for an application that doesn't exist in Zoho, or in the rest of your tech stack, then you are going to want to use Zoho Creator. Zoho Creator is what you call a low code application builder. Doesn't mean no code, it just means low code, or in other words, it's a way for you to build applications from scratch inside of the Zoho platform. The nice thing is because the front end is already locked in and developed for you, you really just have to deal with the back end of data going back and forth. So if someone interacts with a button, what are you going to do with the information from there? And so since the UI UX is largely locked in, you can take advantage of a pre-baked front-end interface, and then you can just deal with the back end. The reason you may want to do this is if you have a process that you want to further automate and one of the other Zoho applications doesn't support that process, then you can build it custom inside of Zoho Creator for your organization. If you want to send someone a link where they can see your schedule and book with you, you are going to want Zoho Bookings. Now, Zoho Bookings is similar to Calendly, so if you're paying for Calendly, you can move off to Zoho Bookings, but I will warn you, there are some issues with Zoho Bookings where sometimes you can get double booked. So it just has an issue with looking at calendars sometimes, and it will allow you to double book. I've noticed that issue with a couple of clients, but more and more people move over to Zoho Bookings and they tell me it works great. The reason that I use Calendly right now over Zoho Bookings, and I'm looking to switch over, is because Calendly, I can actually embed a Calendly page on my website, then collect UTM parameters, where Zoho Bookings does not allow or fulfill that requirement quite yet. So I've got special requirements. That's why I use Calendly over Zoho Bookings, but Zoho Bookings is still really robust. I have a lot of clients who like it and eventually want to move over. So again, if you are wanting to send a link to someone where they can view your schedule and book with you on an available slot, then you are going to want to check out Zoho Bookings. If you want to move your email client over to Zoho, then you want to use Zoho Mail. Now, I use Gmail personally, but Zoho Mail is a very robust platform, and my clients who use it absolutely love it. The reason that I don't use it is I've just been using the Google Workspace since I was really young, and I love the Google Workspace, and it integrates really well with Zoho. And since I've already been using it and I'm comfortable there, especially since most of what I'm doing every day is answering emails back and forth, I'm very particular in the way that I want my email inbox to function and work. That's just the OCD in me. But for you, if you want an email client that you're already paying for Zoho Mail. If you're going to replace your Google Workspace, then you're already paying for WorkDrive and Google Sheets, or in Zoho Sheets, in Zoho Writer, and Zoho Show. So you could replace your Workspace suite, which is again your word processor, your Sheets processor, and then whatever you use to build slideshows, and your storage. If you wanted to replace those, you can certainly do that with Zoho, and Zoho Mail is a great solution. So if you've used email clients in the past, there's nothing entirely different about Zoho Mail. A lot of people like the UI, UX of Zoho Mail over what they see in Gmail and inside of Outlook. So if you're wanting to switch over your email client and you want to use Zoho Mail, the initial setup is a bit tricky in that you got to move over your MX records in your DNS. But if you want to do the migration and use Zoho Mail and the Zoho calendar there, this is a great option for you. If you want a solution for internal communication, then you want Zoho Click. Zoho Click is a part of the Zoho One application bundle, and Zoho Click would replace a software like Slack. So Slack is for internal communication. Typically, an organization might start off with emailing back and forth within the organization. But as the organization grows and there's more messages, more channels, and you need a more advanced solution, people move into an internal communication solution such as Zoho Click or Slack, whatever you're using. If you want to move it over into the Zoho ecosystem, then Click is the application you're going to want to use. I've used Click for a long time. I absolutely love the Click interface. I think it is a very robust application for internal communication. So again, if you are looking to connect with your team in a better way outside of email or texting, if you want to bring that into a modern internal communication system, it's better than Slack. You're already paying for it if you have Zoho One, so go with Click. If you want a work management solution for Agile project management as opposed to waterfall project management, then you're going to want Zoho Sprints. So if you know the basics of project management, you'll know there's two major buckets for project management or styles of managing a project. You have Agile management, And then you have waterfall. So waterfall is more strict, and that would be aligned with Zoho projects. If you're just starting off with project management and work management, go with Zoho projects for now. But if you are adhering to a agile methodology for managing your projects, or in other words, if you work in sprints, right? If you have a backlog of items, and you say this week we're going to hyper focus on these things, and then we're going to come together and discuss it, and then we'll do another sprint. And you're going to want to go with Zoho Sprints because that's exactly what it's built for. So there's two major styles for managing projects. Waterfall would be Zoho projects. And if you're going with Agile, then you'll want to use Zoho Sprints. If you want a company bulletin board solution within the Zoho ecosystem, then you want Zoho Connect. Essentially, Zoho Connect is a way to send mass communications within your organization. It's basically a giant glorified company bulletin board where people can also communicate. It's got some additional functionalities, but the reason that you would really want to use it is to have different groups, different channels, and forums where people can collaborate, they can communicate. So instead of where they'd be DMing directly through or direct messaging directly through a solution like Zoho Click, Zoho Connect is different in that it's usually for mass communication. Like, hey, here's a major company announcement. You can do that there instead of via email. So if you want a modern solution for mass internal communication, then Zoho Connect is the way to go. If you are looking for a better way to train your employees, look no further than Zoho Learn. Zoho Learn is an internal LMS. LMS stands for Learning Management System. Essentially what it allows you to do is store the information that's critical for training in your organization, and then add people to these courses so that people know exactly what they need to learn, and they can learn it inside of Zoho Learn in order to get up to speed for whatever their position requires. So you can create interactive courses. You can get training insights. You can see how long it takes people to complete certain segments of the training program or the training program in total. This is nice just for an internal knowledge base. It's also just nice to store documentation for sales training, for employee onboarding, for compliance training, whatever training needs that you have. You can structure that inside of Zoho Learn. And the nice part is as well, you can also have your employees learn on the go with the mobile application. So they don't even have to be sitting down at their desk to access Zoho Learn and get it done. They can access it from their phone. So this is the best solution that Zoho provides for internal training. If you want a team to be able to collaborate inside of the same email inbox, then you are going to want Zoho Team Inbox. Now, the idea behind Team Inbox is you can take what normally would be a private email inbox and you can add people to it, so you can assign different emails to certain people, and you can tackle different requests and different email incoming emails together. So whereas sometimes in an organization you are getting overwhelmed or inundated with the emails that are coming into your inbox, and you don't want to go about it alone. You have other people on your team. Maybe you have a personal assistant, or there's other members of your team that can help you with the incoming request. You would add them here to Team Inbox. It's pretty similar actually in concept or in theory to what Zoho Desk allows customer service teams. But if you're an internal team, you're not customer service, and you just want to provide a way for the rest of your team to help you with the emails coming in to a specific inbox, then you're going to want to use Team Inbox. If you are looking for an online meeting platform, then you want Zoho Meeting. But I will say right now, Zoho Meeting does not have the best video quality. And I've noticed from using it, my clients have noticed the same thing, that when using Zoho Meeting, there is issues with the meeting pausing, lagging, and then just the overall quality is not quite there. So that is something that they are working on. I've talked with Zoho about this. I really want to move over to Zoho Meeting, but until they get some of those quirks figured out, I am going to be staying on Zoom because a lot of my time is spent in meetings and in my email inbox. So I want top-notch solutions for both so I can provide the best experience possible. But if you're just looking for a tool to fill that gap in your tech stack right now, you just need a meeting solution, you're already paying for Zoho One, why not use this right now until you can move over to something that is a little more robust? If you want a super simple CRM, you should consider Zoho Bigin. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Bigin because I like Zoho CRM better. And I subscribe to the idea that it's better to have it and not need it than need it, not have it. And that is an issue you would run into very quickly with Bigin. The reason I think Bigin exists is because of Pipedrive. If you know anything about Pipedrive, it is a very simple CRM solution that was created by salespeople. The reason I don't think it's realistic is because people move from Pipedrive all the time when they want to implement anything remotely advanced. So it's just an extremely limited pipeline builder, Kanban board where you can drag records from across the board. And I think that's awesome from a UI UX standpoint. But if you really want to do any kind of advanced reporting, automations, you're going to want to use a system like Zoho CRM. It's just much more robust. So if you're using Pipedrive, you're like, hey, I love Pipedrive. I love the simple UI UX. This is a huge requirement for me that we have it this way. Then you could consider Zoho Bigin, but I would just argue you can get everything inside of Zoho Bigin and Zoho CRM, except for some of the UI UX elements, and it just wouldn't seem worth it to me. Also, a drawback for Bigin is it doesn't have the integration capabilities of Zoho CRM, so you got to keep that in mind as well. However, if after I say all of that, you just love the Bigin interface and you look at this thing and you're like, I love this, you can move over to Zoho Bigin. If you're looking for a social media management platform, then you want Zoho Social. Zoho Social will allow you to schedule posts across multiple accounts on different platforms, and it will allow you to manage your social media profiles in the best way possible without having to go into each social media profile individually. You can actually just cross post, meaning you can create one post inside of Zoho Social and then push that out to multiple platforms and multiple accounts. So if you are looking for a more robust way to manage your social media, then Zoho Social is for you. Also keep in mind, if you are using the other Zoho applications, Zoho Social does integrate with them, such as Zoho CRM. So if you're looking for a solution to integrate with the rest of Zoho and you want to manage your social media in a better way, use Zoho Social. If you want to send surveys from Zoho, then you're going to want to use Zoho Survey. Zoho Survey has a lot of overlap with Zoho CRM, but I'd say the big difference isn't the capabilities, even though there are some differences. Really, the big difference is who the ideal user is for each of these applications. So Zoho Survey is really built with the use case that you are sending a survey to a list of people and you want to collect the responses and then dissect the answers. Zoho Forms is more for the use case that, hey, you're putting a form on your website and you want to collect information in the best way possible. So if you're using Zoho to send a survey, in the name, you're going to use Zoho Survey. If you just want to create a form for people to fill out, then I would err on the side of Zoho Forms. If you want to build your website with Zoho, then you can use Zoho Sites. So Zoho Sites is a content management system. You can refer to it as a CMS. It's essentially your way of modifying your website, creating pages, and making it look the way that you want. So Zoho Sites has come a long way. I wouldn't say it's up to snuff necessarily with some A-list competitors such as WordPress. It's not going to be as robust. It's not going to be anywhere near as design savvy as, let's say, Wix, but it is still very robust. And a lot of people don't use even a fraction of the capabilities of WordPress and Wix. And so if you're not going to be using all those capabilities, why pay a fortune for those softwares when you can just use Zoho Sites? If you're already paying for Zoho One, why not use Zoho Sites? So Zoho Sites is a great solution for those of you who want to create a more basic website. And then keep this in mind, while there are Zoho applications that are A-listers and are better than the alternatives, not all Zoho applications are created equally. So while Zoho Sites is good, I would not say it's the best for an enterprise level organization that's trying to create a website in the most robust way possible. But if you need a simple website, use Zoho Sites. If you're getting a lot of traffic on your website and you want to convert more people, or in other words, you want to take traffic visitors and you want to turn them into leads, then you want to use something like Zoho PageSense. Now, Zoho PageSense, I believe, is better than alternatives such as Hotjar, or Crazy Egg is another conversion rate optimization tool, but it's a marketer's tool. And the idea is that you can embed a code on your site, and then you can start to get an idea of where people click on your website via heat map view. And you can also do A and B testing. So if you have a theory and you're like, hey, based on the data we've collected from our heat map, we should change some of the elements around so that we can get better conversions or more people filling out the forms on our site. I have conducted Zoho PageSense tests to help me see how to improve my conversion rates, and it's been quite successful for me. I love marketing tools and I love marketing in general. So if you're a big marketer and you want to test this out, I highly recommend that you do. You can also get these screen recordings so that you can see how they've interacted with certain pages. And then you can get into personalization. I haven't dived too much into the personalization section, but that's something quite interesting as well. So to recap, with Zoho PageSense, you can track the visitors, analyze their behavior, then further optimize your page through A and B testing. And then you can also personalize messages to the person that is visiting your site. If you want to manage your events better, then you're going to want to use Zoho Backstage. Now, Zoho Backstage allows you to both manage virtual events and physical events in the best way possible by having you store that information in an application as opposed to in different Word docs, spreadsheets, whatever you're using to collect that information. Instead of using different forms and trying to integrate it together, use a more unified system like Zoho Backstage. So initially you would create the event for the Backstage, or you would create the record for an event in Zoho Backstage. Then what you'd be able to do is, because that app, all that information is stored and organized, you'd be able to create a microsite. So you'd be able to have events.yourdomain.com, and then all the information you collected on the record would then surface or be on the front end of the microsite. So it just makes your life easier if you want people to register in a more prettied up page as opposed to just sending them to a form to sign up. And you'll want to use Zoho Backstage to do this. It'll be a part of your site. You can use it, the microsite, in order to present the data for your event in the best way possible. So if you want to replace technology such as Eventbrite within your tech stack, and if you're already paying for Zoho One, why not use Zoho Backstage? If you want to build an online store using Zoho, then you want Zoho Commerce. Zoho Commerce is like Shopify. So if you want to move off Shopify and you want to replace it with a Zoho solution, then you want to check out Zoho Commerce. So the nice thing about this is, just like Shopify, you can create a beautiful front end for your online store, and then you can upload your different products for that store, and they will be presented on the front end of your store as you modify the back end. You can also integrate with Zoho Inventory to see your inventory levels. Then you can integrate with a payment gateway so that you can actually take payment from the e-commerce site. So again, if you're looking for a better way to build a website and you don't want to use Shopify, you want to keep it in the Zoho ecosystem, then Zoho Commerce is for you. If you want to manage your affiliate program better, then you'll want to check out Zoho Thrive. So Zoho Thrive is a newer application in the Zoho One suite of apps, and it essentially allows you to add different affiliates to a system to track their referrals and then to track their commissions if you are providing commissions to those in your affiliate program, which most of you are. So if you want a better way of tracking all of that, then you're going to want to use Zoho Thrive. It's really nice to have a system. So initially, when people start an affiliate program, they don't have a much, they mostly just store those affiliates on spreadsheets. There are different sales on spreadsheets, but if you want to provide a unique link to them so that you can see exactly how much they're contributing based on that unique link, then you're going to want to use Zoho Thrive to manage your affiliates, their referrals, and their commissions. If you want to provide remote support, then you are going to want to check out Zoho Assist. So Zoho Assist is an application that allows you to take control of someone else's screen. So if they're having an issue and you want to diagnose what's going on, or you want to help them solve the issue that they're experiencing, you can use Zoho Assist to remotely control their screen. This is a very robust tool if you are doing on-demand remote support. Okay, so during the meeting, you can just take over their entire screen. Also has augmented reality capabilities. That's pretty advanced. But the idea here is, if you are looking to remote into someone's device so you can take over the screen and fix a problem, you'll want to use Zoho Assist. If you want to provide augmented reality remote support, then you want to check out Zoho Lens. So Zoho Lens has some unique capabilities that sets it apart from, let's say, Zoho Assist, for example. With Zoho Lens, you can essentially be on video And then you can highlight different elements of things in the physical world, not digital, physically. And you can highlight different things for people. And so basically, if someone has a physical thing that they are working on, they can get on a Zoho Lens session. You can show, if you're the person who has the issue, you can actually use your phone to show, hey, this is where the issue area is. And then the person on the other side, the support representative, can highlight different elements to you to walk you through how to solve a certain problem with something physical. So that's why you would want to use Zoho Lens. If you want to change your word processor, you may want to use Zoho Writer. Now, I'm in the Google Workspace, so I use Google Docs, but I've used Zoho Writer for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons I use Zoho Writer is because it integrates really nicely with Zoho CRM. So let's say I am meeting with someone and they're like, we love what you're offering, we want a proposal. Well, I can take information from Zoho CRM, merge that into Zoho Writer, and from Zoho Writer, I can send it out for signature using the Zoho Sign integration. Might sound like a lot of steps, but it takes me about 5 minutes because of Zoho Writer. So that capability inside of Zoho CRM is called mail merge. So anytime you're dealing with documentation, there's a direct integration within the Zoho CRM ecosystem with Zoho Writer. So if you like that and you like the word processor there, then you can move over to Zoho Writer. If you are looking to change your spreadsheet processor, whether you're using Google Sheets or Excel, then you may want to check out Zoho Sheets. Now, this is really robust because it's built into the Zoho ecosystem. I've noticed it's not as robust as, let's say, Zoho or Google Sheets, for example, or Excel, but there's so much that you can do here. And if you don't want to pay Microsoft, if you don't want to pay Google, and you want to stay out of those suites, and you want to move your workspace applications, which would include a word processor, spreadsheet processor, an ability to build presentations, and a way to send emails, and then store your information without using Google or Microsoft, then I would recommend looking at something like Zoho Sheets because it's a part of the Zoho Workspace suite of applications. If you're looking to change your presentation software, you may want to check out Zoho Show. So it's like Google Slides. It's like Microsoft PowerPoint. It's a presentation builder. And so if you're not married to the Microsoft suite of applications or the Google suite of applications, this is a great alternative. I will say it's not as robust as the alternatives, but can do quite a bit. And most people aren't even scratching the surface with what you can do with a presentation builder. So why pay more for something you're going to use 1% of when, if you're already paying for Zoho One, you might as well use a solution like Zoho Show. If you are a big note taker and you want an application inside of Zoho that will help you take notes, then you can look into Zoho Notebook. It's self-proclaimed the most beautiful note-taking app across devices. So it's a very simple, elegant solution for taking notes. And if you want to keep it on your mobile device and you want to be able to just jot down different notes on your desktop as well, it's cross-platform or cross-device. So you can have one Zoho Notebook app and access it from multiple different applications. And the nice part is it comes with Zoho One. So it's free to download. It's free to use, and you're already paying for it with Zoho One, so why not use it? If you want to send invoices and get paid, then you use Zoho Invoice. But I will say there's a lot of overlap with Zoho Invoice and Zoho Books. So if you need a full-on accounting system, you use Zoho Books. But if you just need to be able to send out invoices, so if you're a really small business, you just need to send out invoices and then get paid, then you can use just Zoho Invoice. Now, the reason that this is still included in Zoho One is some people don't have as robust needs as Zoho Books for a full-on accounting system. They just want to use something simple like Zoho Invoice. The other thing too is this is included, but really the value that Zoho Invoice brings is it's a free invoicing software for an organization. It's almost like a loss leader, right? It's like, this is almost like a lead magnet for Zoho. So most people are using Zoho Books. They don't use just Zoho Invoice. So I don't necessarily recommend this when you want like a full accounting system. My philosophy is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Zoho Invoice is incredibly limited in comparison to Zoho Books. But then again, if you are just needing a system to send invoices and collect payment, then you want to check out Zoho Invoice. If you want to keep track of expenses, then you'll want to check out Zoho Expenses. Now, Zoho Expense is like Zoho Invoice in that it's a very limited version of what you're going to find in Zoho Books. Zoho Books does have an expenses module and a recurring expenses module. So I'm just going to keep it real with you. Just use Zoho Books if you are in the Zoho One platform. But if you are like, hey, look, we just have the need for keeping track of expenses and we don't want a full-on accounting system, then that's a good case for using Zoho Expense. If you want to create a payment page, then you'll want to use Zoho Checkout. So Zoho Checkout is cool in that you can basically create a form for collecting payment. So for example, at one point I had a client who's running for Senate, and we would be able to create a donation collection form right on the website. So through Zoho Checkout, we could actually create that form for a donation. We'd be able to either, and we can create it for, this doesn't have to be political, this can be for anything. So anything that you're collecting payment for, you can create that form inside of Zoho Checkout, and then you can actually embed that right onto your website, or you can just send out the link so someone can pay for it. So a little different than what most people are doing, where they create an invoice first, they send out the invoice, someone can look at the invoice and then pay for it through Zoho Books or Zoho Invoice, for example. But Zoho Checkout is going to be the better option if you want online payment. So if someone's going to pay on a website, or you just want to send a link so someone can purchase through a payment page, then you can check out Zoho Checkout. If you want the ability to manage subscriptions better in your organization, then you are going to want Zoho Billings, formerly known as Zoho Subscriptions. It's an end-to-end billing software. So there is a lot of overlap here inside of Zoho Billings, and it has a lot of overlap with Zoho Books. But the idea here is that you are able to create recurring payment solutions, being a subscription, and then you can actually send that out for someone to sign up, and then it will recurringly bill them. So that's the main idea behind Zoho Billings. Really, the only reason you'd use this instead of using Zoho Books is if you wanted to take advantage of the recurring billing subscription feature, which is something that is unique to the Zoho billing application. If you want a better HR application, you need to check out Zoho People. It's part of the Zoho One package, and it does a number of things for you. So number one, it is your source of truth for who actually works for you. It's an employee database that scales with you. Also, there's case management. You can build workflows or automations into Zoho People that are quite powerful, and you can get analytics. What's nice as well is you can track the time of your employees within Zoho People. You can schedule shifts, and then they can use a mobile application to look at their shifts. You can track days off efficiently and convert time into timesheets. So that's really powerful to be able to do is in Zoho People. It has tight integrations with the other Zoho applications as well. And again, it is a part of Zoho One. You can also set goals for your employees. You can put down, you can add performance reviews inside of Zoho People, and you can see all of those records within one place. So if you need a better application for managing HR processes, look into Zoho People. If you need a better application tracking system, then you'll want Zoho Recruit. So Zoho Recruit allows you to track all of the people applying for different positions in your organization. So one of the nice things that Zoho Recruit can do is it can integrate with popular job boards such as Indeed. And you can essentially post from one place, from Zoho Recruit. You can create a job listing and you can push that job listing to popular job boards. What you can also do is job boards have like a list of people who are looking for jobs. So you can actually import those lists into Zoho Recruit and reach out to people and be more proactive about hiring. So Zoho Recruit, because it's basically like, I think about it like a social media application where I can create one post and I can post to multiple platforms like Zoho Social, and I use Zoho Social for that. It's like that, except you create one job post and then you can post it out to multiple job boards, and you can be proactive by taking people who are waiting in those job boards for certain positions. You can import those lists and then you can reach out to them. If you need a better solution for cleaning up your data before you report on it, you're going to want to check out Zoho Data Prep. So Zoho Data Prep allows you to take chaotic data and turn it into actionable data. But what does that actually mean for you? Well, what you'll want to do when reporting is you'll want to string data together in a way that makes sense so that it can actually be the base level of data or a base table for reporting. And so sometimes when you get data out of another system, I've had client situations where they're reporting inside of Zoho Analytics from information that's coming from a different application. Okay. And so what they would do is they would take that data and they'd have to do 50 different things to the data. They'd have to clean it up in order for it to be even useful in Zoho Analytics. So what you'd want to do in this situation is you take that data through Zoho Data Prep, and anything that you're doing that can be automated, right? If you're doing these mundane things to the data, you can actually automate that using data prep. So you can see here, you can clean, enrich, and transform your data. You take that raw data that's not useful, you transform it with all these different actions, and then you have your prepared data. And so if you're doing like a routine export and you've got to make like 50 different adjustments to the data before you can report on it, you'd want to use Zoho Data Prep. If you want a better solution for managing contracts, then you want to check out Zoho Contracts. So what's the big difference between Zoho Contracts and let's say Zoho Sign? Well, Zoho Sign is going to cover most use cases for most organizations, but sometimes you're sending out a contract and there's a lot of back and forth within the negotiation phase, and you want people to easily highlight the different things that they want to change in the agreement so that you can come to an agreement and get it signed. So Zoho Contracts, you can think if Zoho Sign and Zoho Writer had a baby, the name would be Zoho Contracts, because in the same way that you can go into a word processor nowadays in the cloud and you can highlight things and you can make edits and suggestions, and then you can track all of the edits that have been made over time, you can do that with Zoho Contracts, where is with Zoho Sign, when you send it out, there's no highlighting a clause and saying, hey, I don't want this. There's no option to do that. So if you have longer negotiation periods after you send out an agreement, you are going to want to use Zoho Contracts. If you want a better solution to control who has access to what applications in your organization and you want to be more secure, then you want to check out Zoho Directory. So Zoho Directory is a part of the Zoho One suite of applications, and it essentially allows you to do two things. So number one, you can authenticate who is accessing applications in your organization. So you can go to one place and you can set up authentication for everyone in your organization. So instead of, basically the advantage here is instead of setting up authentication inside of every individual Zoho application, you can take a step back and from Zoho One, control everyone's access and everyone's authentication from one place. So instead of doing it on a per app basis, you can do it for all of Zoho at once, which is really helpful. Okay, so the next thing is you can choose who is going to access what applications. Okay, so after you fix authentication, you decide who has been invited to the organization and what applications they can actually access. So that's all done inside of Zoho Directory, and it's connected to your Zoho One apps, and you can connect it to other apps outside of your organization as well. If you want to manage your operations in the field better, then you'll want to check out Zoho FSM. So this is the first application I'm showing you in a series of applications that aren't included in Zoho One, but are still worth mentioning. So Zoho FSM is for those of you who are managing operations out in the field. So let me give you kind of an idea of the record flow here. So let's say you close a deal with somebody, okay? And you create an invoice and you send it out. Or maybe you want to do a site preview before you send the invoice. You go from deal closed to work order. Okay, so work order management is the first order of business for Zoho FSM. From the work order, you can actually plan different routes via dispatch. So as a dispatch console, once you dispatch someone, you have different appointments that are logged against the work order. And then once the work order is completed, you can actually invoice from Zoho FSM and collect payment. So it's a way for you to organize your work in the field by handling work orders, appointments, scheduling those appointments in a way that makes sense. And then from the mobile application, your field technicians or those working in the field can see exactly where they need to go and what they need to do. If you want a better point of sale system, you want to check out Zakia, which is a newer Zoho application. It's not included in Zoho One, but it's definitely worth mentioning. So if you have a retail location and you want a point of sale solution, which is, you've experienced this before, you go into a store, you're going to buy something. When you go to the checkout counter and they ring you up, where you're paying through is a point of sale system. So if you want a system like that that is backed by Zoho and integrates with the Zoho suite, then you're going to want Zakia. Just to prove to you that this is a Zoho company, because I know you're not seeing Zoho anywhere, just so you see, Zakia is a division of Zoho Corporation. So again, the major advantages here is you can integrate with Zoho. All of your products can populate in here, and then you can ring somebody up in your retail location and take payment. If you want a flexible tool that can automate certain processes and you want to work in a tabular format, then you're going to want to check out Zoho Tables. Now, when I say all of that, you might be thinking, what on earth are you talking about? Think of Monday.com. Zoho Tables is pretty much Monday.com. It's a spreadsheet with a lot more features and it's a lot more robust. Essentially, the main thing you can do from like a UI UX standpoint is you're able to it's basically a spreadsheet where you can change the way that you're viewing the information. So I'll show you right here with this. Okay, so right view in the right data. So typically, when you're using a spreadsheet, you can just view information in a tabular view, but you're able to convert that to a Kanban view, to gallery view, to calendar view. So it's essentially a really beautiful spreadsheet where you can change the way you're viewing the information in the way that makes the most sense to you. So I'm a huge Kanban person. You mentioned you'll recall when I was talking about Zoho CRM, I mentioned you need to have your data in relation to your processes. That's the Kanban view. That's what I'm talking about with Kanban view. You want to be able to see your information from left to right so that you can actually do something about it instead of just looking at information and referencing it. Okay. So it's also a collaboration platform. So if you want to, I wouldn't use this for like task management, but if you're going to do away with the Zoho One suite, because again, you got to remember, Zoho Tables is not a part of Zoho One. Maybe it will be one day, but as of the time of recording this, it's not. It's really for those different use cases for different teams. So maybe you don't like Zoho projects and you don't like Zoho sprints. That doesn't really fit your style. You need something more flexible. That's where you could look into Zoho Tables. It's much more flexible than Zoho sprints in Zoho projects. So if you need something more flexible, you need to organize the work that you're doing, you can use Zoho Tables. If you want a better payroll solution, then you'll want to check out Zoho Payroll. Okay, so Zoho Payroll may be available in your state if you're in the United States, like myself. Wow, this has grown quite a bit. I'm in Utah, so I do have this. I have access to Zoho Payroll. You may not. So if you want to see if you can run payroll through Zoho, then you want to check out Zoho Payroll and see if your state is supported if you are in the United States. So you can also see what early access, if early access is available in your state as well for Zoho Payroll, and you can test it out. But the idea here, obviously with the Zoho Payroll solution or the payroll solution, you're able to log the time that your employees are spending, and then you can put in their hourly rate and you can pay them right from the platform. Or if the people working for you are on salary, you can also just add how much you are paying them, and then you can pay them out right from the Zoho Payroll application. If you want a better solution for managing a temporary workforce, then you're going to want Zoho Workerly. So Zoho Workerly, one of the major reasons that it isn't going to be in the Zoho One platform is you aren't paying per user necessarily. So 25 temps per month, that's $59. You can see it's got a different payment structure because it really needs to, right? Like if you have to add user licenses all the time for all of your temps, you're basically just buying them in bulk because you're going to be working with a set number of temporary workers, okay? So if you want a better way to schedule the shifts and manage the temporary workers in your organization or an organization that you are working with, and you want to give them a mobile app so that they can access their schedule, then you are going to want to check out Zoho Workerly. If you are doing cold outreach in your organization to generate more leads, you can do it better with RB2B. So RB2B is a tool that allows you to generate leads from visitors. Okay, so instead of just creating a giant list of people to reach out to that you made from clay, you can do what's called inbound led outbound, or in other words, if someone goes on your website, then what our B2B is going to do is look at the IP address from the visitor and try to match that with their database. So if they get a match from an IP address from someone visiting your website, and in their database with a first name, last name, email, phone number, LinkedIn, they're going to send that information to you. So you can add a push from R2B2B to Zoho Flow via webhook. And then from Zoho Flow, you can create that lead inside of Zoho CRM. So that is very useful if you are doing cold outreach to send your cold outreach messages to people who just visited your website. That's very powerful. So if you want to check that out, that's a way to generate leads automatically just from people visiting your website, not even filling out a form. If you want to send text messages from Zoho CRM, then you are going to want to get message media. Okay, so message media acquired Smooth Messenger. If you're not familiar with Smooth Messenger, it's this extension right here. It just provides you the best UI and UX for sending messages. Not only direct messages, but also mass SMS messages to your contacts list, for your lead list. You can do that all with the Smooth Messenger extension. And so this is really another tool that I think is worth mentioning. It's not a part of the Zoho suite. Message media is not a part of Zoho. But because they have a great extension with Zoho, I highly recommend that you get Smooth Messenger if you're looking to send one-on-one text and collect that and see it in the best interface possible. It looks like an iMessage. Or if you're wanting to do programmatic SMS messages, or in other words, you want to send mass SMS messages to a group of people, then you would want to use Smooth Messenger by Message Media.